everyone, how are you all doing? Now today I've got something a little bit different for you guys. I'm going to be ranking the Championship away days this season. I have been fortunate enough to go to all 23 games, so hopefully you guys think that this is a fair placement of all of the away days. Been quite a difficult decision actually. There are a few where I knew where I wanted to place them, and then there were quite a few others where I had to change them around a bit, but I've got the full 23 now in what I think is fair positions, and let's get into this. So in 23rd place and at the bottom of the list we've got Cardiff City. This was the last away day of the season, and let's remember there was nothing to play for Cardiff, and there were a lot of empty seats around. If you go to the video you can see that there was a lot of empty seats, and it was quite disappointing actually, because I remember going to Cardiff a few seasons ago, and it was the season where they'd come down from the Premier League, and it was a good stadium, and we lost 4-2, and it was very loud, and I was expecting a lot, but I was a little bit disappointed. But you can understand, it was the last game of this. It was the last home game of the season for them. They had nothing to play for, and yeah, it was not the best away day. Let's say that. And in 22nd place we have got Reading, and I feel a bit bad for putting Reading here, because the reason why they might not have been as good is because of their points deductions. You know, fans may not have wanted to go and watch the football because it wasn't that good. But if I'm being completely honest, although we lost, and I'm not basing this off results, by the way, it's just off atmosphere. There were, just like Cardiff, a lot of empty seats, and the atmosphere, the first half of the atmosphere was pretty bad from both sides, from what I can remember, because just nothing really was going each side's way, and it ended 0-0 at half time. And then into the second half, Blues managed to have a lot of chances, but we just couldn't take them, and we lost 2-1 in the end. And yeah, Reading in 21st, because once again, just like Cardiff, there were a lot of empty seats and there wasn't that much noise. And now in 21st place, this one is a difficult one for me, but I've gone with Preston North End. And I mean, I like Preston. I think that their stadium is nice, but the atmosphere was just not on point, and it was a cold day, and I can remember being stood in the away end absolutely freezing, and in the end Blues went on to get an 88th minute equaliser, and that warmed me up. But it just was quite quiet that day, and I'm trying to remember back, but it wasn't really one of the best games ever, and it was a cold day, and yeah, there were a lot of empty seats. Just I'll say this a lot for the lower sides down in this table, but I just didn't really think that Preston was brilliant, and it's unfortunate because Preston are, you know, a good team, and they're a team which I do like to see progress, but in this table which I've done, they just have not got above 21st. In 20th, I've gone with Hull City, and this one is one where I like the stadium. I think the stadium looks really nice, but on the day, the atmosphere, I mean, the atmosphere was quite good actually, but there was a lot of silence for a lot of the game, and I think that just taking a look at my notes there. It was quite quiet, but I do remember Hull singing "Birmingham get battered everywhere they go," and that was actually the first proper time that I had heard it. And then after that, I've heard it a lot of times when other teams have come to St Andrews or we've gone away. But I thought I remember at the time them singing that, and I just thought it was brilliant. But I've put them in 20th place because it was quiet for periods of the game. But you expect that anyway, so I hope that I don't really get judged by that. And there are also a lot of empty seats, but that's another thing which you can understand. It was a cold day, just like Preston, and Hull at the time weren't on the greatest run of forms, I don't think. So Hull are in 20th, I think that's fair. And in 19th, I'm going to try speed this up a little bit because I don't want the video going on for too long. So I've gone with Coventry for this one, and it was a night game. And I think with a lot of Coventry's games, there's been a lot of empty seats, and that's going to be that has been the trend so far down in these lower places. But yeah, I've put Coventry in 19th. It's a nice stadium and it's got a great away end, but it just does not go above 19th because of the stadium not really being filled, and there are a lot of empty seats there, which is a shame. But for the fans that were there, they were loud. Although it ended as a 0-0 draw, it was a nice away day. And in 18th place we have got Stoke, and I've put Stoke here because when we went, it's a nice stadium, I like it, but just it was quite quiet at times, especially when we scored in our first goal. I can remember whether it was just all the Blues fans singing, I couldn't hear any Stoke fans, but you could feel like the atmosphere just went. And when Stoke scored, they were loud, and their fans all running over to the Blues fans, just trying to just annoy us. And that is what away days are, aren't they? That's why I like the away days, just the banter between the fans. And I do think that Stoke do have a good fan base, and I do like it just when fans try to annoy each other without any violence or anything like that, just trying to just frustrate each other. I do like that, and I do think that's funny, and I do think that's football, isn't it? But I have gone with Stoke in 18th, and I hope that that's a fair place to put them. I think it is. In 17th place then, I have gone with Peterborough, and I can remember it was quite early on in the season, it was September, and in fact Peterborough scored from the first minute, so the atmosphere was built up from the first minute. But the highlight of Peterborough was their mascot, the bunny. I'm not too sure what the name is, but they have a bunny as one of their mascots. I think they have two. I think they also have a builder, but they had a bunny. And when Peterborough scored, he'd be holding this carrot, and he'd just start swinging it around, and it'd get on the Blues fans' nerves, and they'd be taking the mick out of the bunny. But it was a nice away day, and it's one which I hope I do get to go back to. Peterborough, unfortunately, they got relegated to League One. But I've had to put them in 17th, although it was early on in the season, and their fans were hoping for a good start, which did not really happen. But yeah, 17th place for Peterborough. In 16th place, I've gone with Barnsley. And Barnsley was another one which was early on in the season, and they had hopes that they could build on from Valerian Ismail, which did not really work out, did it? But I can remember Barnsley scored first, and it was a great goal by I think it was Stiles who scored, and all of a sudden the atmosphere roars, and then it starts to die down, and you're just thinking, can Blues take advantage of that? Which eventually we do, and it goes 1-1, and then from there it's quite quiet between both sets of fans. Not much else happens. There are a few controversial moments, but nothing which was too much to talk about. But Barnsley in 16th, and yeah, I think that's another fair place to put them. In 15th place, I've gone with Bristol City. And I think Bristol City have great fans, but just on the day, I just didn't think they were good enough. And I can remember, I really like the way they have the fan zone. A lot of teams do that, but I just think that Bristol City just do it in a way which just is more memorable than the others. I remember a few seasons back, we won 3-1 against Bristol City, and I can remember going to the fan zone there, and we saw Steve Cooper. And we didn't say hello or anything, but he walked past us, and obviously Swansea must have been playing Bristol a few days later or something like that. But I can remember that, and that's how I remember Bristol. But no, honestly, just on the day they were quiet. Blues went 2-0 up within 13 minutes, so you can understand that would have killed the atmosphere a bit. But overall, I don't think it's a bad away day. And in 14th place, I've gone with Millwall. And I think Millwall's a difficult one because it's a difficult place to go to, and they make it into a fortress. But I think with it being really cold, I can remember being freezing. And I think that might have just kept the fans away. And I liked Millwall because on the way there we went on the train, and on the way there all the Blues fans were around talking, and just having a great time. Getting off the train, everyone was singing songs, but then once we got into Millwall, and we got to the Den. In fact, the train station is just outside of the Den actually, and then once we got into there, you know, it was loud, but it just got quiet at points when the football wasn't really that good. And then afterwards, we got held in a like an alleyway type thing, and we were waiting there for about 30 minutes, which was not too great. But eventually we did get out. But yeah, it was just a little bit frustrating how we had to wait for so long. But overall, I think Millwall's a good stadium. I'm not too sure on it, to be honest, but I think on its day it can be absolutely brilliant, don't get me wrong. And now in 13th place I've got Swansea City, and Swansea is just one of those stadiums which you either love it or hate it. It depends on whether you like the bowl stadiums, but I like the bowl stadiums. I think they look nice, and I think that Swansea, it had a few points where the atmosphere built up, but then it would die down, and you know, you do get that at games, of course, but it does get a bit annoying when you got a team like Swansea City, you know, who have, you know, a great fan base, and you know, I remember a few seasons back. We lost 3-0 to Swansea, and they were loud then. And so in my head, I was thinking, oh yeah, this is going to be a loud, this is going to be a loud game today. But obviously Swansea have not had a good season, and I should have kept that in mind, because overall the atmosphere was not brilliant. But you know, they did sing, and it ended 0-0. But I didn't think it was that bad. If the atmosphere was better, it would be higher in the list. But I think 13th place is a decent place to put them. In 12th place then, and I have no clue how long the video has been running for, but hopefully I can keep it within a suitable time zone. But I'm going to try speed it up, as I said earlier, which didn't really work, did it? But Huddersfield Town, I've put in 12th. It was a night game. I mean, the stadium is unique, isn't it? How it lifts up over the on the sides, and then it does another lift up. You know what I'm talking about. Behind the goals, just it's a unique stadium, and I like it. And I think it just looks really good. From looking outside of the stadium and inside the stadium, I think it looks brilliant from looking outside and inside. But it was a night game, and it was a time where I remember Blues had not been able to score for ages, and it was quite quiet between both sets of fans in this one. But 12th place, and I think it was. I think that's a fair position to put them. And so in 11th place we have got Blackpool, and I don't want to talk about the score in this one, but their fans were loud for the first season back in the Championship. Where they were was quite interesting to see, because a lot of people had Blackpool to get relegated, and then they've finished mid-table, and their fans were very loud in this game, and it didn't help that from the first few minutes Blackpool went 1-0 up. It didn't help Blues at all, and eventually we went on to concede 6. But overall I think Blackpool is a really good away day, and I like it. In 10th place then I have got Bournemouth, and it was another one where I think the stadium is something like 9,000 or something like that, isn't it? It's quite low, and yeah, that just brings it down a little bit. But the stadium was quite full, and Bournemouth, you expect them to go on. You expect them to go and beat a lot of teams this season with the way which they were playing under Scott Parker, and they beat Blues in this one. And there was a little bit of a heated atmosphere between Blues and Bournemouth. Bournemouth got a red card in the second half, which just made it a little bit more spicy. But overall, it was a nice away day, and it was quite I don't really like the journeys down, because it just takes forever, I feel. But a lot of these away days are worth it, whether we win, lose or draw. But Bournemouth is one of those which takes forever to get down, but then it's a nice away day. In 9th place then we have got QPR, and an issue which I have with QPR is that they don't allow cameras into the stadium, and that's something which I do find frustrating. But I respect the rules, and I don't record in there. Maybe if I don't think the security guards are too fussed on it, to be honest. But I just don't really like to risk it. But yeah, I since a few seasons back went to QPR and I saw that they didn't allow cameras. And ever since then I've just checked just to make sure that the stadium does allow cameras, and a lot of the stadiums do. But I don't think QPR are all too fussed about it, to be honest. As I've seen other YouTubers go in there with their cameras. But I just thought, just for the time that I went, that I just wouldn't risk it. And in the end, it turned out to not be the worst away day, but I remember it rained very badly at half time, and you could hardly see anything. Luckily it was at half time. But the fans were loud, and when they scored they played that goal music, didn't they, as they usually do. Which I like it when teams have a music when they score. I do think that's pretty cool. QPR 9th, I think that's fair. In 8th place, I have put Luton Town, and I do have to give Luton a lot of credit here. Blues won 5-0, and their fans stayed till the end. And a lot of teams would have a lot of fans leaving the stadium, but of course some fans left, but a lot of the fans stayed till the final whistle, and you've got to respect that. And it's a unique stadium, isn't it, how you walk through in between people's gardens and all that, and I think it's a brilliant away day. And hopefully if Luton do move to this new stadium, which I think is happening, isn't it, hopefully it will be just as good as Kenilworth Road. But yeah, it's a unique stadium, and it's got 8th place. In 7th place then, I have put Fulham, and Fulham is one where it's a bit odd because the away fans and the home fans go in at the same point. So yeah, I was a little bit curious as to what it was like, but turns out it was all fine, and they beat us 6-2 and all that. And it's a nice stadium. The from the away end, looking to the left, that stadium, which is empty at the moment, it looks impressive. And it's just another away day which I enjoyed. Loud fans, and it's another stadium which is unique. Now, before you guys realise that I'm recording this at a different time, basically what happened was that my GoPro was running out of battery pretty fast, so I had to stop recording. I had to charge it up, but now I'm back to do the final 6 teams. And so in 6th place we have got Blackburn Rovers, and I can remember Blackburn very easily. We played them when they were in a good run of form. It was around Christmas time, and at half time they played the Wild Rover song, and it was just, all of the fans were singing it all around the stadium, and it just gave you goosebumps, and I thought that was brilliant. And that is why Blackburn is 6th. But also it's a really nice stadium. I do like it, and it's a nice away day. In 5th place is West Brom, and the Hawthorns. It is a nice stadium. It's another one of those stadiums which I do like. It was a derby day, of course, when Blues met West Brom. It was a Friday night, and it was a fiery atmosphere. West Brom went on to win 1-0, and when West Brom scored, all of the fans went absolutely wild. And I like derby days, and that was my first away derby day, so I'd never really experienced anything like that before. But West Brom away was a good away day, and that is why it is 5th place. And in 4th place we have got Sheffield United, and this was the first game of the season for us and for Sheffield United. And coming into this game with Sheffield United being relegated from the Premier League last season, I was a little bit nervous for this game, but Blues went on to win 1-0, and it was a great away game. The fans for Sheffield United, they believed that they would, hopefully for them, go straight back up to the Premier League, and it was a loud atmosphere around the stadium. And when the players came out at the start of the game, there was a massive roar from the home crowd. But Blues did go 1-0 up, and we won the game 1-0, and the scenes in the away end were absolutely wild, which is why Sheffield United is 4th place. I really enjoyed that away day. And in 3rd place, it's between Derby County, Nottingham Forest and Middlesbrough. And in 3rd place, it's going to be Middlesbrough. Middlesbrough, what an away game that was. I loved it. I thought that, it was so loud. The first half, just when you're looking in the away end, the left side, it's just full of fans all singing. They don't stop, and that was brilliant. And then Blues score 2 goals within a matter of minutes, and all of a sudden, we're all loud, but the Middlesbrough fans don't stop singing. They're still singing. They're hoping that they can get back into the game. But I think I like the Riverside Stadium. I think it's a lovely stadium, and it's quite similar to Derby County's stadium if we think about it. I think that it looks similar to Derby County Stadium inside. Obviously the colours are different, but if you think about it, I think it does look similar. And in 2nd place, we've got the East Midlands derby here. It's either Nottingham Forest or Derby County to get 2nd place, but I've gone with Derby County. And the reason why it's 2nd and it's not 3rd, because I said it was similar to Middlesbrough's, is because it was a sold-out stadium. Don't get me wrong. I think both teams should be joint 2nd, but I'm putting Derby County as 2nd place just because it was a sold-out stadium, and just the support from the Derby County fans was just incredible. It was a fiery atmosphere. It was a great game of football, and if Derby hadn't scored that last minute equaliser, maybe it wouldn't be in second, because I wouldn't have seen the scenes that were at Pride Park. But it was absolutely incredible, and you know, it was a brilliant stadium. I like Derby County's Pride Park Stadium, just like I like Middlesbrough. So I think that, as I said, for Middlesbrough, I think they're similar stadiums. But Derby County are second, which leaves in first place Nottingham Forest. And I said in the video that it was the best away day that I had been to in terms of atmosphere. And I think the stadium is nice as well. But Nottingham Forest, it was the best atmosphere that I've been to so far this season, and that I've been to since I've been following the Blues. And I think Nottingham Forest, at the time, they were in a really good run of form with Steve Cooper. I mean, it was only in April, and they were fired up, and they wanted to get the win. And it all started off in the 5th minute. Keenan Davis scoring against Blues, obviously with his links to Villa. He would have enjoyed that. But Nottingham Forest, that is the best away day that I have been to this season. So that was that. I hope you agree with this. I'm not too sure whether YouTube will allow me to have comments on this, because obviously I'm a child, and you know, they've got to protect children and all that. And I know that when it's like football, when like it's a proper match day, I can have comments, but that's probably because people like to express their language a bit more. And so I'm not too sure whether it will allow comments. I try to keep comments turned on because I like to get your guys' input. But if it does turn off comments, and I do apologise for that, but now you know why. So thank you all very much for watching the video, and keep right on, everyone.